We've got James Madison and Louisville. Louisville right now, 7.5, 8-point home favorites, 55 the total. The money's come in on JMU. I agree. I think this is a tricky little spot here against a very underrated James Madison team. Tricky spot for Louisville off a huge win against Wake Forest last week. And I think the betting markets have given Louisville way too much credit for that win against Wake. I mean, when Wake is going to turn the ball over 6 times, that's how a game is going to quickly get away from you. And that's what we saw in that game. They lost 4 fumbles, and then their quarterbacks had 4 interceptions. They had 8 turnovers. It was even more than 6. 8 turnovers in that game. 8. 4 interceptions and 4 lost fumbles from Wake Forest against Louisville. That's why we can't give Louisville all the credit for that victory. You're supposed to win, the way they did, 48-21, when your opponent basically gift wraps the football game for you with lack of ball security. And that's exactly what we saw last week for Louisville in that game against Wake. You got Marshall off back-to-back losses. All of a sudden, the bandwagon, they're unpiling on James Madison all of a sudden after 2 losses, Georgia Southern and Marshall, losing those 2 games outright as favorites. But the Marshall game, people are going to look at that and say, that Marshall game, 26-12, James Madison's falling apart. Maybe we got to bet against them. But another example, and this has been a pandemic in college football. COVID's not the pandemic we need to focus on right now. It's college football last-minute scratches that are killing bettors right now. Cam Rising with Utah. Rocky Lombardi, we talked about with Northern Illinois. James Madison's last game, it was Todd Centeio. All of a sudden, at the last minute, he's not playing. Last friggin' minute. It's like, where is this guy? He wasn't on the injury report all week. What's going on? And all of a sudden, he's out against Marshall. And the offense didn't work with the backup quarterback, Billy Atkins. 4 interceptions he had in that game. Again, supposed to lose 26-12 when your quarterback throws 4 picks. That's just the way it's supposed to be. So if Centeio's back, and I'm hearing that he probably will, at least early in the week, let's not forget, this guy's had a hell of a season here for James Madison. And this offense with him under center has been very good. I think this is a tricky spot for Louisville. Like I said, turnover influenced win against Wake Forest. This game here, and then they get Clemson coming up in their next game following their bye week. This is not a Louisville spot. This is a James Madison team that I think we have some value with now because of 2 losses in a row. One of them came with the backup quarterback that threw 4 interceptions in that game against Marshall. Good spot here. I like JMU. What do you think here, Conor Mack?
You know what, I do a little bit as well, just because they're back here now in the dog roll. They've started to become favorites, and now they started laying points on the road. And I just said, That's right when shit happens. And not only they didn't cover, they didn't win. So this is a little bit better. I still wish this is more. James Madison, maybe the bye week was really good for them because that defense started to look tired and get a little ripped there the last few, even with Marshall putting 26 on them, and their offense does not look good at all. Louisville been better at home. I still can't figure out. All those turnovers were great. They won the game. You know me. I can't figure out Malik Cunningham. As soon as I'd go to back him, like right now, they are at home. It's more than the touchdown. I don't want to do it. He's going to, have a horrible game. I'm shocked he's even completing 60% of his passes. But yeah, so I just wish this was maybe double digits. I see some points. There's one thing JMU's given up some, and Louisville should be able to score on them. But I think JMU can move it as well. So I lean the points here. Lean over.
Lean points, lean over here for Conor Mack in this. And by the way, James Madison run defense. Now, look, have they faced a ground game maybe as good as Louisville's? No, but the run defense is number 1 in college football in terms of total yards per game allowed. And for the season, they're giving up 1.9 yards per carry, 54.9 rushing yards per game. You have not been able to run on James Madison. Whatever points they've given up, it's been the passing game. And we know what the strength of Louisville is. It's the run game. So it's actually a matchup that I think bodes pretty solidly here, pretty well for JM.